This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
We continue on the verdict news here with the Great American and lots to talk about. Benny Johnson, who is the host of The Benny Show, TPUSA contributor, and a great friend. Benny, your reaction to Donald Trump being convicted?
Yeah, so the MAGA hat stays on. Looks good on you, Charlie. Haven't seen you in one of those
Where's your MAGA hat, Benny?
I don't look good in a hat, man. You'll never see me in any hat.
No.
I don't look good in a hat.
Is that right?
Still have hair. Okay, so I still have hair.
No, I think I've seen you in a hat. I'm going to fact check you on that. I think I got you.
I don't wear hats. I still have hair, and I'm not gonna encourage any. I'm not gonna encourage any retreat up here by wearing hats. So you won't find me in a hat regularly, and you won't find me retreating. And you're not seeing Donald Trump retreat. And I'm here to bring tidings of great joy to your audience, Charlie, because there is no retreat and there is no surrender. And there is no cope, and there are no tears on our side. In fact, the only difference from yesterday to today is that there are tens of millions more MAGA voters, more Donald Trump voters than there were yesterday. There are hundreds of thousands more Donald Trump donators than there were yesterday. The people who have decided to reach into their pocketbook or to reach into a ballot box and pull the lever for Donald Trump increased exponentially yesterday by every available metric. The Trump campaign raised $36 million in 6 hours. That's a world record. To put that in perspective, Joe Biden raised $50 million the entire month of last month. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself here when I say this will be the biggest political backlash in American history. And to understand why, it's actually far less about Donald Trump than it is about who we are as Americans as a people. As Americans as a people, like deep in our DNA is the revolutionaries who started this country. Every single signer, every signatory of the Declaration of Independence is a felon. Every one of them signed a document that said, I am a criminal now under the laws of the British Empire. Some founders of that founders and some signers of that document were tried and put in prison. Some died penniless. Some were executed. The signers of the Declaration of Independence, who are memorialized and turned into monuments all throughout Washington, D.C. now. That document itself, the felony document, the Declaration of Independence, is now encased in bulletproof glass and gold in the National Archives in a nuclear-proof bunker. Because we respect felons, we respect revolutionaries in this country. The revolutionaries changed the world. They're guaranteed persecution. But through that persecution, whether it's an apostle or a prophet or Joan of Arc or Nelson Mandela or the signers of the Declaration of Independence, the felons, the criminals standing against evil, tyrannical systems, they end up changing the world. And we remember them. And so I look forward to the Trump monument in D.C. one day, when we'll look back on him fondly as a founding felon father.
Founding felon father. Benny, you are one of the most viral people in the movement. You understand the internet really well. Give our audience who is not as in tune, how did this act on the internet yesterday? Who won? Was it win Biden, favor Trump? What were the independent minders, people saying, the influencers, the non-political people? Give us a vibe check.
Yeah, so the vibe check, I mean, I have here in front of me on my computer hundreds of posts on X. This is what people are posting publicly, that they've never voted for Donald Trump before. They don't like Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump, in fact, and they're now donating to Donald Trump. Professors from the University of Chicago. RFK campaign staffers saying now they're voting Trump. RFK himself defending Donald Trump. The entire unified freedom movement saying this isn't the country that we want to live in. And it's an important moment to take a step back and also realize that the sort of psychosexual, orgasmic cringe display that we expected from the left isn't materializing, Charlie. Why is that? It's a little strange, isn't it? Like, why aren't we seeing the celebrations in the streets and the ticker tape? Because I think that they know they done effed up, Charlie. They didn't actually, they weren't planning on this being the one that got across the finish line. They can't defend this. And they are now every time that a leftist opens up, George Conway, every time takes his pudgy little fingers and opens up his social media, he is fearful of seeing the next round of polling or the next round of donation numbers, because they know what they've just done here is effectively, again, put Nelson Mandela in prison. You've made a political prisoner out of your enemy. You've given him the story that he needed to run on. He already had a great story, Donald Trump. No one's crystallized it better than you, Charlie, but this just adds a shocking and wonderful chapter to the story of Trump, and it is it's unifying. In fact, the more they indict, the more we unite.
I love that. That is exactly right. And we saw, I mean, $39 million raised, huge amounts of support coming out of the woodwork. And so Benny, let me understand this. Even the weak Republicans were speaking out against this. Even some of the more moderate wing, they found this to be aghast to this. Benny, we've known for quite some time that our institutions are rotten to the core. And some people still yesterday said, I can't believe this. This is so hard for me to believe. I can't believe it. So Benny, my question is, why all of a sudden are they realizing what you and I have now known for a couple of years?
Yeah, so you were able to ring this like a bell a decade ago with the founding of Turning Point USA, when you said what's happening in our college institutions will make its way to the halls of Congress and to the halls of the judiciary. The institutional rot began perhaps at the universities and in the nuclear epicenters of thought formation or lack thereof, and it was only a matter of time until you have a ruling like this, given the fact that the people who are educated in these institutions come out. And you saw what happened at Columbia University. You see what happens across the country. These aren't real institutions. These institutions are designed to overthrow what made this country great in the first place. And so you're just seeing the end result. The end result is also Ilhan Omar, AOC in Congress. You're seeing that decay every single day. But what I would say to the weak Republicans, fast forwarding here, to the weak Republicans that want to bitch and mule today and send tweets and statements and go on cable TV and cry and strongly worded letters to the DOJ, I say to you, move aside. You're the reason we got here in the first place. We don't need you anymore. We're not going to abide by the old rules of the system. That country doesn't exist any longer. The only thing that exists now is the will to power. And the shocking reality is that Democrats, especially really powerful Democrats like the Clintons, the Obamas, and the Bidens, have done a lot of criminal things in red states. Let's just take, for example, Jim Biden, who ran a Medicare fraud embezzlement scheme in the state of Florida, shut down like 20 different hospitals because of that collapse, putting little grandmothers and children that needed medical help on the streets here in Florida, causing major harm to the people of this great red state, getting filthy rich on it. The DOJ actually investigated him. Of course, they passed on charges. So now it should fall to Ashley Moody, who's the attorney general of this state, and other DAs to take Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, drag his ass to the Everglades into a Trump plus 50 district. I want a judge who has Donald Trump's campaign logo branded on his ass. I want a judge who donated to Trump, and I want an entire jury of MAGA hats judging Jim Biden for his known crime of defrauding
Yes.
and embezzling against the people of Florida.
Hold that thought.
Now,
Hold that thought. 1 second. Hold that thought
Yeah.
right now. Benny Johnson continues with us. Benny, I know you love our show and our breaks. Keep going.
Yeah, well, you know, it'd be great for weight loss for Jim Biden would be to be locked up in a jail without air conditioning in the Everglades, mosquito infested.
The quickest way to lose the quickest way to lose 40 pounds is go to federal prison.
Yeah, that's right. No, you see, Charlie, it'd be state prison here in the state of Florida because it's a rock red state. And it would be something that would be very, very simple for the state government to do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I pick back up. You want to, like, this isn't pie in the sky stuff. This is really simple. You can charge the Bidens for their crimes in red states. And it's not just Florida. You could go to Texas, where Hunter Biden hatched a scheme to sell Texas's precious natural gas and oil to the communist Chinese in the world's largest LNG port. That was supposed to be out of Houston. This was, of course, violative of many laws and an insult to the people of Texas. Why not charge Hunter Biden? Joe Biden, of course, is somebody who once he leaves office could also be brought in on all of these charges and could be charged because he was the one running these gambits and running these schemes. If you want to get after the Clintons, well, did you know, Charlie, that the Clinton Foundation has always and is to this very day operational out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and that Todd Blanche is a MAGA Republican who is in charge of the law in Arkansas. He's the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas, and that the governor of the state of Arkansas is Sarah Sanders. And you could launch an investigation.
So I have to interrupt, Benny. I have to interrupt because you're making a great point. Why don't they do this then? You just laid out some great, wonderful details. Why, Benny? What's going on here?
Because they believe in an America that doesn't exist anymore. And it's time to wake up and recognize what America we live in. What time is it right now? They believe that they live in an America that was painted by Norman Rockwell in the 1950s in some postcard, and that there are principles that still exist. The Marxist has no principles, just the pure pursuit of power. They'll celebrate putting Donald Trump in jail for what exactly? I guess this is the thing that I just can't really square. They told their drooling audiences for years, Charlie, that Donald Trump was a terrorist or a Putin puppet or an insurrectionist. Yet the charges that you get him on are bookkeeping errors from 2017 that have run out the statute of limitations for some alleged affair in 2005. This is what you've gone with. This is what you've been able to concoct and create. No. We can do that. We can do that to Barack Obama, who summarily murdered an American teenager without a trial, violating his constitutional rights, obviously. And he did this in a foreign country, which means that there's no statute of limitations. So you could bring that in any federal district in the country. So just go to southern Indiana, to that federal district, and that Trump plus 50 district, and charge Barack Obama with the summary murder of an American teenager, Anwar al-Awlaki, in Yemen. This is easy. This is easy stuff. And the wild thing, Charlie, is that these demons on the other side, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, they actually committed crimes, like real crimes, really heinous stuff. The Clinton Foundation, some of the worst things that have happened in human history have rolled through that foundation. So let's go.
So Benny, they believe the country is that in a country that's now dead. Is this the wake up call? 1 minute remaining, Benny.
In a country that's now dead, is this the wake up call? Well, it doesn't have to be dead. There just needs to be a time of retribution. There needs to be a time of resetting the tables. So their presidential candidates need to go to jail. Their children need to go to jail. They need to go to jail. There needs to be a time of that they must know that if they break the system, it'll be used against them. if they don't get punched in the face proverbially, like a bully on a playground, then they'll continue to bully. And so this is now the call to weakling Republicans. Action. No more words, no more tears. Action.
That's right. Benny, plug your program, plug your stuff. You're doing terrific.
Oh, at Benny Johnson, you know where to find us. But we encourage you to follow along on any social platform. We're at Benny Johnson across all of them. And we stay salty.
Love it, Benny. Benny, I'll see you soon at the People's Convention in Detroit. We have a great slot for you there. Excited for that. Benny, thanks so much.
And the RNC for our felon founding father.